The plot of Alan Wake 2 picks up right where the 2010 original title left off, leaving cliffhanger after cliffhanger. It adds to the mythology and cast of characters, clearing up some previously ambiguous details while posing a number of new questions about its convoluted storyline. Fans who have not played Alan Wake should still enjoy the sequel, as both tell a surreal story of events that defy reality and intricate webs of connections that are frequently meant to be confusing. The title writer discovers the nature of what's going on during the events of the first Alan Wake, and he uses his skills to stop this monster that threatens reality. After giving his life to protect those he loves in the town of Bright Falls, Alan finds himself in a state of uncertainty. As the original ends, he says, "It's not a lake, it's an ocean." After being imprisoned in this otherworldly ocean for 13 years, Alan has been working feverishly to write the ideal book that will defeat the beast according to its own rules in order to find a lasting solution to his situation. The Dark Place, the Dark Presence in Mr. Scratch. The antagonist of Alan Wake is an entity referred to as the Dark Presence, which inhabits the Dark Place, an alternate dimension where reality is only loosely governed. It especially appeals to creative people and those with active imaginations. It is the presence that transforms reality itself through art, and it seeks to subjugate gifted people to further solidify its hold on the world and drive it toward its vision of an unending circle of worship. Being a gifted writer, Alan Wake was drawn to the presence and coerced into creating a horror book that, if written well, would literally overwrite reality and bring this scenario to pass. When Alan is able to be fully possessed by the presence, he transforms into Mr. Scratch. In this version, he crafts the story exactly as it should be, changing the course of events in the real world to fit the story. As reality splits and overlaps, this process produces ever more dangerous versions that tear the very fabric of reality. In the meantime, the real Alan is lost in a never-ending nightmare of uncertainties and anxieties. While trying to regain his senses and memory to outwit the presence, Scratch by taking back control of himself and rerouting the story to where the presence is thwarted, he has visions and flashes of the real world. Alan Wake and Saga Anderson's escape plan. FBI agents Saga Anderson and Alex Casey are drawn into the constantly changing editing arms race in Alan Wake 2. They found their way into Alan's book as the heroes who would help him put things right. Joining forces across transdimensional space-time, they would create an ending in which the horrors eventually end and things return to normal. However, they have to make their way through the strange obstacles and sneaky loops the presence places in their way. Their lives become entangled in the ever-evolving drafts, making them doubt their own sanity as the story transforms not only their perceptions but the world in which they live. After a while, Alan learns that he can talk to Saga through the Dark Place's emptiness using her mind-placed detective ability. They work together to devise a plan after he explains the nature of the threat. Even with its immense power, the Dark Presence is nevertheless constrained by the laws of the art it is influencing. Narrative consistency is important in this situation. A happy ending cannot be written in a flash. It must adhere to the genre's rules, the balance of the scales, and the hero's price. Casey, the new Scratch, is this grim Faustian catch. He is stalking Alan and Saga through the Dark Place once more. The fate of Alan, Saga, and Casey in Alan Wake 2. Saga shoots Alan as she attempts to briefly drive the presence back into him after confronting Scratch as Casey. This seems to kill it as well as him, putting an end to its imminent rule, at least temporarily, and a strange silence descends. Although they have supposedly saved many lives and avoided the worst-case scenario, we are left wondering how much it will cost. As Saga tries to call her family to see if they're okay, Casey wakes up and asks, "Is it over?" With a stern expression, Alan Wake 2 ends abruptly, leaving both in a precarious position as the credits begin to roll. It is implied that the two find themselves in a well-known scenario, adrift in the Dark Place with no idea of how they will be able to get out. That isn't everything, of course. The game, staying true to its own metatone, inserts a mid-credit stinger that depicts Alan waking up again and declaring, "It's not a loop ... it's a spiral." Alan Wake 2 ends on another cliffhanger, this time with a revelation that even higher raises the stakes than the one that bookended his previous similar revelation at the end of the first title. Though it's highly likely that all three of them are indeed stuck, having made it through the Dark Place's depths and defeated the presence once. They now have the skills and knowledge necessary to escape once more and, ideally, permanently seal it away. Besides these significant occasions, there are a lot of unanswered questions about supporting characters and story points, and these will most likely be covered in later material.